Allah Ta'ala mentions some of the foundations on which this society was formed. One is unity and brotherhood. This was a key component. Without unity, without feeling that you are connected to the other person as a brother, this is not possible. Allah Ta'ala says in Quran chapter 49 that the believers are but brothers, so make peace between your brothers. So it is a responsibility among us. If we see some discord or differences and something that is going up, you have to make sure that you step in and try to remove that difference. Because Allah Ta'ala mentions in the Quran, hold fast to the rope of Allah, all together and not be divided. Because Shaitan wants people to be divided. Shaitan wants mu'mineen to be divided. Shaitan wants people to be alone, not have a support system. And Allah Ta'ala praises Ansar in the Quran. Allah Ta'ala says, they love those who immigrated to them, give preference over themselves even in need. This shows that what Ansar did at the very beginning, this was appreciated by Allah. So as the Prophet entered Medina, what did Prophet do? One of the first things that he did was he made brotherhood between the Muhajirin and the Ansar. He took one Muhajir and one Ansar and said, you are brothers. Now you take half of your property and share it with your brother. Everything was done in half. The Ansar who were in Medina, they gave half to their brothers, to the Muhajirin who had left everything for the cause of Allah and came empty-handed to the city of Medina. Think about how many people have come, and this is an important point for people to recognize, especially those who have migrated from other places. Not talking about those who have come with support of family and others. I'm talking about people who came alone. As students, as family, they had nothing. They had left everything back home. And then if there is someone who helped them at that time, you always remember, like, that was the person who helped me when I had no one. And this was the situation of the Muhajirin who had left everything in Makkah and came to Medina, and then Ansar helped. So the first one is unity and brotherhood. We need to make sure that we have that. The second one is mutual support and cooperation. Allah Ta'ala says, help one another in righteousness and piety, not in sin and aggression. So always do amar bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar and help each other. If you see that someone has said something good and the other person is saying, no, you haven't done good, highlight, no, this was right, what you've done is right. You have to be supportive of each other in kindness, in good deeds. And also, if someone says that what is happening is wrong, it's your responsibility to highlight if you think it is wrong, to support them in that aspect. And then Allah Ta'ala mentions that men and women, especially mu'mineen and mu'minat, are guardians of each other, are wali of each other. They are responsible for each other. So it is our responsibility to make that happen. And then the third one is to have justice and economic equity. This is, again, a system cannot flourish without justice. And that's why when the Prophet established his society, his community, he laid certain rules. He said, this is the constitution of Medina. And within the constitution of Medina, he said, Muslims and Jews are part of one community. They're not different. They have to be treated similarly. They are responsible for collective defense, mutual justice, and no leaving anyone behind. We will not let anyone be poor. We all are one community. The freedom of religion was given to all the religions who were there. Disputes were referred to the Prophet and Allah. This is a very important point, considering that how we try to solve the problems ourselves. Oftentimes, it is important to identify that this person is a senior, or this person has the status of, like, he's a religious scholar, or he knows what he's talking about. Identify that person and then go to them with bigger disputes. Because oftentimes when people are arguing among themselves, they're not able to solve. That's why in the constitution the Prophet said, when there is dispute, come to me, come to Allah, and I will make a decision, and that decision will be final. And that's why the center of Medina was the mosque of the Prophet. It was not a castle, it was not a big court, it was the mosque in which the Prophet used to sit humbly. They were praying, they were giving, the Prophet was giving the message of the religion, but also addressing the conflicts that were happening, the issues that were happening in the society. Another thing that the Prophet did, which was very important, was he established economic justice. What does that mean? It means that in Medina, there was a market which was controlled by certain monopolies. You see the monopolies over here, right? You see some lobbies controlling certain aspect of the economy, and you cannot enter that. It's just like they will not. It's technically you can, but you will never get any support, and you will be sidelined from that market. The Prophet established a free public market. He ended the monopoly. He allowed anyone who wanted to sell something to be part of the market, he allowed them. At the same time, he made sure that there is Baitul Mal, treasury for the poor, and the Ashab al-Safa. Those people who did not have anything, they were given from Baitul Mal. They were given, they were supported, so that no one felt like, if I do not do this, if I am not subservient to the powerful, I will not have any money. The Prophet said, I will provide. Everyone should be independent, because once you're independent, you think, you help others. And then the Prophet always highlighted equality. As in the Quran, Allah says, the difference is only based on taqwa. The Prophet established equality in every single thing, that all Muslims, whether black or white, Arab or non-Arab, they are all equal. They have to be treated equally. And during this, as he was doing, he also established the responsibility of men towards women. Because before that, women had no rights. Women were not given any rights in the end of life distribution or anything. They were just treated like animals. They had no rights in the community. The Prophet gave rights to women in the community. And then, above all, it was his view that a community cannot continue without leadership. And that's why he continuously appointed Imam Ali alayhi salam from day one as his successor, so that to show that until unless you choose a leader who is sincere, who is knowledgeable, and the existing leader appoints the following leader, the community cannot continue. Yes, there has to be shura, there has to be discussions, all of these things. But the leadership has to be with piety, with knowledge, with strength. Not based on someone, what people come and agree to and say, oh, because this person will reward me, that will be my leader. And the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam kept continuing all these things in the letters that they kept on writing. For example, Imam Ali alayhi salam, if you read the letter to Malik Ashtar, he says, rule with mercy. People are either your brothers in religion or your equals in humanity. He's kept on saying to Malik Ashtar, even if it were my own wealth, I would redistribute equally. How much more when it is Allah's wealth? So think about this. Everyone who's custodian, they have been given wealth, responsibility by Allah.